Hi, this is Tracy Washington again, and I'm just coming to talk to you briefly about grief. I have been hearing a lot about people being burned out and they're grieving. They're just quite honestly, their hearts are broken, or they're trying to adjust to a bunch of changes. And what I see, I am not a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I am a certified grief recovery specialist. But what I do see is that people are emotionally overwhelmed. They're emotionally overwhelmed. So, as a manager, as a leader, I wanted to give you a couple things to look out for with your team that might signal some burnout or some other issues going on, that grief that you may not be aware of, or you may just not know how to deal with. So, the one thing that I want to say is that grief is emotional, it is not intellectual. Sure, we've got things going on and we know them up here, but they're impacting us here. They're impacting us at our heart. And sometimes the heart doesn't have the language. We can't get the language right to be able to communicate to other people what the heart is feeling. And then there are times where we are, quite frankly, telling people exactly what we feel. We have the keyboard warriors that are saying exactly what's on their heart. And sometimes it does come out of their mouth. But what do you do as a leader or as a manager who you want to know, keep an eye on your people. You want to keep an eye on certain things. So you might be able to identify some of these behaviors to see if your people might be grieving. Number one, isolation. Do you have anybody in your team that may have been maybe more social, but suddenly they don't seem to engage in meetings as much? They don't talk, they don't want to turn their cameras on, or maybe if you're physically back in your office, they may not say as much. They might be experiencing grief. Grief, again, is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern or behavior, if I haven't said that. So it's the emotional response to change, conflicting feelings that we feel. So we may be conflicted about how we feel and or how we should feel and how we do feel. And then isolation is the one thing. And the second thing I want to talk about is disturbing. Disturbing is something that many people don't realize they're even doing because it alleviates the pain. It's a distraction away from what we really feel, those unpleasant emotions. STIRBS stands for, it's an acronym, short term energy releasing behavior. So, for instance, scrolling on social media for hours and hours, it makes us feel good. It takes us away from having to really experience what we feel in our bodies and in our minds. So we just want to laugh at cat videos on TikTok, and we want to, just engage in social media to the point where we are anesthetized to how we really feel. So low productivity can result from disturbing in this way, as well as just totally disconnecting. So that is one thing. Disturbing could look like isolation. Another thing is retail therapy. That would be online shopping, or pretty much online shopping. So constantly buying things just to feel good. We know that sometimes we like to get things from Amazon on our front porch, and no shade with Amazon. I love Amazon. I get things sometimes from Amazon, but it makes us feel good to shop. And so that could be, if you see an overindulgence in shopping, that could be a sign that someone is disturbing. Now, you may not know that because you're not maybe face to face and you don't live with the person, you don't know, but it is something to be aware of. When you see that in maybe someone that could be a sign that they're grieving. So another sign would be totally disconnecting from reality. Just jokes, a lot of laughter, a lot of just, not really facing the real issues, not avoidance. And so a lot of times when people are very comical, that might be their personality, but sometimes they're hiding pain. So these are just some of the things to look out for. And that may or may not impact productivity, because your focus and concentration can be off when your heart is not your heart is broken, but you don't want other people around you to know it. So you put on a mask and you kind of laugh, you hide up underneath. And there's nothing wrong with any of these things, because we're having a human experience. We are emotional beings, and we're having an experience, all of us collectively, and how we respond to it is different. So grief does impact the organization. There are studies about the financial impact of grief, and it's substantial. It's substantial. So it's something that we need to really look at going forward in the workplace. Well-being, employee well-being, and the emotional awareness of what's happening with our team is going to be a key business indicator in the future, because we really can't get the best productivity and the best work from people and the creativity that we need for our organizations to thrive if we're not caring for our people. So if you know someone that could benefit from this video, please like and share, forward it to them. And if I can help you, just reach out. Take care.